Good morning, everybody. It is Kim Crumpler of UniquelySavvy.com and my good friend here, Randy Small. Hey, Randy.
Hey.
And guys, I wanted to have a quick interview with Randy because I met him a couple years ago and his story is so inspirational to me. It's one that's full of hope and courage and freedom and gratitude. And I heard from him on, Facebook the other day, and I thought, boy, perhaps you all in our Uniquely Savvy community might benefit from his story too. So Randy had a heart transplant when he was 42 years old. And I'd love for you, Randy, just to tell us a little bit about the background there and how that came to be.
Well, Kim, I had a heart attack when I was 29 years old. And that was a pretty devastating thing in my life. I made it through that, clearly, and the next thing that I ended up going through was 2 years later. I had to have open heart surgery. I had lost my mother from heart disease.
Oh, wow.
And she had her first heart attack at 45 years old, and she died when she was 53. And I take after her in many different ways. I have the same wavy hair. I have nails you could turn screws with. Her beard was a little shorter and slightly different color, but I take after her in so many different ways, and unfortunately this was one of them. And so after the initial heart attack and the bypass, I just figured I was going to be following her path. I had ended up not dying like she did. The time went on, and I was healthy and strong, and then around 40 things started to go badly, and I struggled. I got to the point where I couldn't have walked across an average sized room without stopping to catch my breath once or twice. I was weakening and I was dying. I got worked up for a transplant at the University of Washington Medical Center, and they told me that without a transplant I wouldn't make it to my next birthday, which was only at that time 22 days away.
Wow.
And since they don't have organs sitting on the shelf, they had to put in a left ventricular assist device. It's a device that takes over for the left side of your heart. And mine had failed. And so I had to have this in order to survive. And that was devastating news.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I was going to die. And you find out so much about yourself during that time. One of the interesting things, and one of the things that my friends had commented on, was my humor and acceptance and how I tried to keep a good attitude through the whole thing. And there were a number of reasons for that. Number one, I felt better having a good attitude.
Right.
Number two, my friends would come visit me more at the hospital, and I wanted that if I was a nice guy. And then
Good plan.
and of course, the healthcare workers who helped keep me alive did a great job with that and keeping my attitude up, and it was phenomenal.
Right.
I was on that device for 3 months, waiting for somebody out there, basically to die, but in their passing, that they would be kind and loving and compassionate enough to, as their last act on this earth, to give the gift of life.
Yeah.
And so I waited.
And this story is amazing. And so tell me, how long, your donor's name is Kate.
Yes, Kate.
Tell us about Kate. I know that you and Kate's family have an amazing relationship.
We do. We met about 3.5, maybe 4 years after my transplant. And I went up to Homer, Alaska, drove from Seattle, 2,500 mile epic journey up the Alcan Highway. And it was just the type of journey I wanted to explain or to meet my donor family, because their gift to me was so epic. And life-changing, life-saving, go down all that list.
Great.
In the meantime, I was afraid of being judged by them as not worthy. Their daughter, Kate, was 22 years old when she passed. She had an undiagnosed brain tumor that led to strokes that they just couldn't get ahead of. But when she passed and she became an organ, eye, and tissue donor, she saved me and 11 other people.
Wow.
And it's difficult for people to wrap their mind around how incredible a gift that is.
Yeah, that is.
And I've become great friends with my donor family. They've adopted me, I've adopted them.
Is that right?
It's really interesting.
And how many years have you been in relationship with them now?
Almost about 4 years now.
About 4 years?
Yes, and I've gone back to visit them, and when they've actually come to town here in Woodinville, and I've taken them around on a tour of the wineries.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And I'm going up again at the end of this month to speak at the annual donor family gathering that they have in Anchorage. And my donor's father, Larry, will be speaking first. And I, with all apologies to Paul Harvey, will be giving the rest of the story.
Excellent, excellent. So tell me this, since you have had this renewed lease on life, tell me how you have daily shown up in life. I mean, how has this affected you? I mean, one of the things that I'm so drawn to about you is that you are so full of gratitude.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing. I met you again about 2 years ago, and this is only my second time seeing you. We've become social media friends.
Yes, we have.
And you're just full of gratitude and humor. And tell us how you've shown up differently. What impact did that have on you on a day-to-day basis?
You know, there's a myth out there that people who receive transplants take on some characteristics of their donor.
Is this a myth?
It is a myth.
Okay.
You and I have joked about it that I am a chick at heart.
You're a chick at heart.
And I know all about shoes, shopping, chocolate, and bad hair days. But the thing I know most about is gratitude. I asked my best friend, who's known me for 35 years, if she saw anything different. And she said, no. She said, as a best friend will, she said, you're pretty much a jerk before, you're still pretty much a jerk.
God.
She says, but you're a more grateful jerk. And truly, that is what I wake up with every day. This is bonus time. I'm here by the grace of Kate and her family, of the doctors and nurses and blood banks, and you can just go down the list. And I've always been, I think, a pretty decent guy. Neither saint nor sinner. But I'm here now, and I tell my donor family, and I tell everybody, all the good things I do in my life are really Kate's doing, because she allowed me to continue this.
Right.
All bad stuff, still me.
Oh, you see, he's a man of accountability too. There he is. Great character.
But no, when all is said and done, I take my inspiration from just being here every day. And others have said that my story is inspirational. I'm just this guy. I was living my life. I was struggling with some medical stuff. I was told I was going to die, which is pretty harsh. But I found a place of contentment, because in my life, I had a really great life. I had great family, great friends. I had loved and been loved. I've had these great experiences. And for me, I wanted more.
Yeah.
If this was all I got, okay. If this was my exit, so be it. But I wanted more. And so I fought. I fought hard.
You fought hard. You sure did. You sure did. Now I know that that you've got to get on to bigger and better things than hanging out with Kim Crumpler today, but I do have two quick questions. One is, how do you pay it forward? And two, a couple of weeks ago I asked a question on Uniquely Savvy's Facebook page, and I said, if you could have a breakthrough on another level of fear in your life, what would life look like? And your answer really inspired me to call you and say, oh my gosh, can you share more? What was that answer? If you could break through one more level of fear.
Well, your first question about paying it forward is actually an extension of the second answer. I've done a lot of volunteering in the time that I've had since transplant, and I try really hard to get out in the community and try to pay back the gift that I received. See, somebody somewhere had spoken to Kate about being an organ and tissue donor. I don't know who that person is. I will never meet them. But that conversation may have saved my life.
Yeah, it did.
And so when all is said and done, I work with Life Center Northwest as a community advocate. I go out and I speak at schools and civic organizations. And I've really, wow, it was nothing I ever expected to be a public speaker.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of fun doing it. Apparently I'm good at it because they keep asking me to do it.
Right.
Like going to Alaska to speak.
Yeah.
And my answer to your second question was if I could have a breakthrough moment, get through the fear. And I've been working on my book. Currently the working title is Living with the Heart of a Hero.
Oh, wow.
What I would love to do is, first of all, complete the book, and we all know how difficult that can be, and get it published. But if I could do anything, I would want to go around the country sharing my story, my journey, and inspiring others to reach that point of contentment and gratitude in their own lives and want more and strive and fight for that more. And if I could do anything, that would be it. And I honor Kate every day, and I want to get out there and share that story.
Yeah. Well, thank you seriously so much for sharing it with me and for Uniquely Savvy's community today. Kate really is a great hero in your life, and just thank you for your words of encouragement, and all the best to you, and let us know when that book comes out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You betcha. Bye.